In this class, we will learn how to upgrade an Oracle 18c rack to Oracle 19c rack. So let us see the roadmap to upgrading to Oracle 19c rack. First step is we need to install and configure Oracle 18c rack. Then in the second step, we'll upgrade this to Oracle 19c rack. So this is the roadmap. Now let us see the roadmap to install Oracle 18c rack. Installing Oracle 18c rack consists of many steps. The first one is we have to create a virtual machine and install Oracle Linux. And next we have to configure prerequisites for Oracle 18c grid infrastructure installation. Then we have to clone and create the second node. Next we have to create and attach a shared storage. Then we have to install and configure Oracle 18c grid infrastructure. Then lastly, we have to install and create it Oracle RAC database. So these are the steps that we need to complete to successfully install and configure Oracle 18c rack. So let us start with the first step, which is create a virtual machine and install Oracle Linux. So let us go to the host system where we want to install. I'm on the host system, and let us create a new virtual machine and install Oracle Linux into this virtual machine. Machine new, and the name is rack 1 or node 1, and operating system type is Linux, and version Oracle 64-bit. Click next, and the memory, let us allocate around 8 GB memory or around 10 GB memory. Hard disk, create a new virtual disk. Disk type VDI, dynamically allocated, and let us allocate around 100 GB. And let us take the default location under the default name. Say create. So this has created the virtual machine, and now what we'll do, we'll change some system properties. Click on system, and the pointing device type, instead of PS2 mouse, choose USB multi-touch tablet. This will enable smooth functioning of the cursor. Say OK. That is the first change. Second thing is storage. We have to attach a Linux ISO image to the optical drive. So here under storage, you have optical drive empty. Click on this and choose a disk image and choose your Linux ISO. My Linux ISO is under this path /rack soft Oracle Linux OEL 7.6. So this is the ISO image. Let us attach it to the optical drive. Then the third one is every node in the rack should have two network interface cards. So let us add one more interface card. The first one is already created, and create the second one by clicking on the network. And for the first one also, enable network adapter attached to. Default is NAT, instead of that say bridged adapter. Then click on adapter 2. Enable network adapter attached to. Take internal network. We will use it for private network. Say OK. So that's it. These are the changes you need to make after creating the virtual machine. So with that, now let us start this virtual machine and install Oracle Linux 7.6. Press enter. You can skip the media checking, escape. Now the Linux installation has been started. Carefully choose the options. Language English, click continue. Then customize the installation. First, let me choose the date and time. The default is America, New York. Let me customize. I am in India, so I will choose India time zone. Say done. Then next one is software selection. Default is minimal installation, but we will customize it. Instead of minimal installation, we will choose server with the GUI. Say done. So let us wait for the dependency check. All right, now this is enabled. Next, installation destination. Default is automatic partitioning selected. We will customize this. We will click on this and scroll down. Partitioning, automatically configure partition. Instead of that, choose I will configure partitioning option and say done. Now let us partition this 100 GB storage allocated to the system virtual machine. Here from the drop down list, choose a standard partition. So this 100 GB storage that we allocated will create three partitions. One is a root partition, second is swap partition, third is /u01 partition. So let us create these partitions by clicking plus symbol here. Mount point, the first one is root and the desired capacity. For root file system, we will allocate around 25 GB. And next, click plus symbol. Second one is swap. For swap, you can click on this drop down and choose swap. And for swap, we will give around uh, 10 GB. Then the remaining space will allocate to U01. So you have 67.41 GB remaining. So click a plus symbol and the mount point is /u01 and desired capacity say 68 GB, around whatever left. Alright, that's it. Now let us go ahead and click on done and click on accept the changes. That's it. Begin installation. We'll configure hostname and the network after the installation. So click on begin installation. So this will start Linux installation, which will take some time. And meanwhile, we will set the root password. And create one custom user, uh, say something like Murli. So that's it. Now we have to wait for the Linux installation to be completed. So we'll pause the video here and come back once the installation is done. All right, now you can see the Linux installation has been completed and it is waiting for the reboot. So click on the reboot and let the system reboot for the first time. All right, now the first reboot will prompt you for accepting licensing. So click on license information and scroll down, see the license and accept the license. Done. That's it. The next one, network and host name, we will configure a little bit later. So for now, just click on finish configuration. That's it. Now the system is prompting you to log in. You can log in with the user you created during the installation, or you can log in with the root user. So for now, let me log in with the root user. For that, click on not listed. Username is root and the password. That's it. Now the node is ready. You might want to complete these welcome screens. Just click next, 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 skip, start using Oracle Linux server. And help, genome help will be displayed. Close this help window. That's it. Your system is ready now. Additionally, you might want to make this screen resolution bigger so that you will have a bigger screen. So how to do that? You can click on this menu here, menu bar, and little bit here on the and click on this settings symbol. Alternatively, you can go to applications, system tools, settings. Either way, you can go to the settings option. Now scroll down and click on the devices and resolution. Standard resolution is 800 by 600, 4.3, 4:3 ratio. Scroll down and take some high resolution. For example, I want to take a 1280 by 768, which is 16 by 10 ratio. Choose that one and say apply and keep changes. That's it. Close this window. Now you can see the screen is bigger in size. So this is how you install the node and change the resolution. Now let us go ahead and configure some additional Linux steps, perform some additional Linux steps. So what are those steps that we are going to configure now? These are, first we need to configure host name and IP details for this node. Then we will stop and disable firewall. We will disable say Linux. So these are the tasks, additional Linux tasks that we are going to perform. The first one, set a screen resolution, is already done. Now the second one is configure host name and IP details. So for that, what you can do for host name, you can open a terminal and we will name it as rack1.euclidit.com. You can set the host name using hostnamectl set host name command. What is the host name? rack1.euclidit.com. So host name is configured. Next we have to configure networking details, IP address, subnet mask, DNS and all those things. So for that, what we will do, because this is a rack system and it has two network interface cards. One we will use it for configuring public network. Second one we will use it for configuring private and ASM network. So how do we configure networking? You can use the graphical tool for that. That is, you can just click on this symbol here and go to settings, or alternatively from applications, system tools, settings, and scroll down and choose networking. So click on network and first ensure both the network interface cards are on. Currently both are off, so click on click on on. And the first one, whose name is ENP0S3, will use it for public network. The second one, ENP0S8, will use it for private network. So let us configure these networks now. Click on this configure symbol and first the public network we are configuring. First thing is connect automatically. Check connect automatically. Then click on IPv4 and choose manual IPv4 method and assign the IP details. So for this node, this is my node. The IP address which I am going to use is 192.168.1.164 and the subnet mask just type 24, which is 255.255.255.0. Gateway, my gateway is 192.168.1.1. Then DNS server, again same as the gateway, 192.168.1.1. So that's it. Click apply. Then next we will configure the private network interface card. So make it on and click on configure, check connect automatically and IPv4 manual. The first node private IP is 10.0.0.1, net mask is 8. That's it. You don't need to configure gateway and DNS for private network and say apply. Now to make these changes effective, we will turn them off for few seconds. Then turn on. That's it. Alternatively, you can verify from command line. You can minimize this window and go to command prompt and you can type IP ADDR command, and for each interface card ENP0S3, you can see the IP that I assigned. For the second one, ENP0S8, you can see the IP assigned. So this is how you assign host name and configure IP details. The second one is we need to stop and disable firewall service. So how do we do this? You can say systemctl stop firewall_d.service. This will stop a firewall service and disable it so that it will not start automatically upon reboot. So we stopped and disable firewall. Next, the third one is we need to disable say Linux. So how do you do that? Set enforce 0, then configure the say Linux config file, which is under etc say Linux config. Now in this file, say Linux is enforcing. Replace this with disabled. We wanted to disable say Linux. Save this. That's it. So we have disabled say Linux also. Now, one more time, let us reboot the system so that all these changes are applied properly. Say init 6. Now login as root user. And verify all the changes we made have been successfully applied or not. You can see the host name, and you can see the IP details uh, for both NICs. Then how can you verify systemctl status firewall_d.service? So this firewall_d service is inactive. Then say Linux. How do you verify say Linux? Get enforce. Disabled. So this is how you verify all the changes that you have made. So that's it for this now. And just to recap what we have done in this lesson, we have created a virtual machine, installed a Linux operating system inside the virtual machine, and configured the Linux operating system by assigning host name, IP address, and disabling the firewall and disabling the say Linux.